What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. We got a little bit of an announcement here today in regards to tomorrow's Summon Rush event. It's going to be part of the Fusion, obviously. And there it is. We have the Summon Rush in game. It's going to happen in 19 hours. And yeah, we're going to be having to get one of the rares in this Summon Rush unless you plan on getting all the other rares from every single other event, or if you're going for the epic in the last champion chase. There is one extra rare in this fusion, so you guys can keep that in mind. If you guys didn't want to go for the summon rush, you guys can totally skip it, but that just means you guys have to get every single rare from every single event in the rest of the fusion. So if you guys want a little bit of flexibility, probably want to take a look at this upcoming summon rush. Let's jump into this. We have a announcement here is there's going to be a progressive event. So there's going to be a 15x boost to a champion of your choice. And here are the list of champions up for grabs or up for the boost. All shard rates are normal rates, so we're not getting any boost on that. Okay, guys. Let's check out the champions here. So first up, we got Folan Silverhart. This was the past fusion that we just had, guys. I think this is to kind of capitalize on people that missed the fusion but want to go for the champion. Maybe for the collect them all type reward at the end. So there is a reward if you collect all of the Web of Corruption champions, a bunch of relics. There's a mythical relic involved. I think it's going to be the Coveted Passion. But Folan's a very decent champion. He's got the single target decreased defense block passives with an AoE attack and a debuff spread. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. And then he has this nice AoE double hit. It ignores unkillable and block damage, and it has damage scaling off of debuffs. It's not a bad hitting ability. It is a double hit AoE, which is also very nice. And he has an A1 extend duration of a random debuff. His passives does give him a little bit of damage mitigation, but honestly, he has like pretty low base stats. He's not going to survive too many hits anyways, but you know, it might be useful. And then he has this interesting ability here that prevents him from landing too many weak hits, which is pretty good. So that's Folan Silverhart. He's a good champion. Like, you know, if you don't have him as a fusion, there's no if you have him as a fusion, sorry, there's no real reason to chase for him. But he's a good champ. Up next, we have Keberon the Underflame. Keberon here, I did play test him a little bit when he first came out, and I was actually a little bit surprised by his performance. I thought he performed pretty good. He's got an A1 decreased defense, chance to activate whenever the enemy has an HP burn, activate on them. That's pretty nice. A decreased defense. He's got an A2 here on a 3-turn cooldown. It's a single target double hit. Places Death Brand on the target, ignores unkillable and shields, and 25% of the target's defense. Activate this champion's pre-knee power skill if the target is killed. If the target survives, fill the champion's turn by 50%. It's a pretty good ability on a 3-turn cooldown. Death Brand's a pretty big threat because it block revives. He can go through unkillable, which is pretty nice. And he has the flat 25% ignore defense. He's going to activate his A3. His A3 here is an AoE attack with an increased accuracy, also places HP burn with the turn meter fill based on the amount of HP burn debuffs placed on the enemy. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. Again, a very decent ability here. The increased accuracy really helps. And HP burn, you know, you can definitely find some use for that in PvE content also. So you got a PvP content kind of attack here, and then this is mainly for PvE probably. And then lastly, his passive, also a pretty cool passive here. He's got an active effect on a 4-turn cooldown, activates a delay effect on this champion whenever they receive a fatal hit. So basically, delay means that you take the damage on the next turn he takes. It gives you a chance to recover if you have like a healer on the team, for example. The passive effect heals this champion by 20% of their max HP whenever an HP burn debuff is activated on the enemy. That's kind of a nice little bit of healing. Whenever HP burn debuff on an enemy expires or removed, places True Fear on that enemy for 1 turn. Not too shabby, to be honest. A little bit of healing, a little bit of crowd control, a little bit of cheat death. I think the knock against him is that he just doesn't hit hard enough. 1454 base attack is a little bit on the low side. He does ignore 25% of the target's defense on here, so that's probably how they're balancing it out a little bit. His kit does require accuracy. He does bring increased accuracy himself, so it's less of a burden, but still, you still need a little bit of accuracy just to land Death Brand, obviously, decreased defense and HP burn. So, but I think he's a fine champion if you actually pull him. Up next, we have from the Night Revenants, we have Venicisia here. Very solid reviver. He's got the team-wide revive that locks out your enemy. If you revive and she's the last person standing, then your allies will all get their cooldown skills refreshed by 1 turn, which is very nice. On 4-turn cooldowns, a pretty standard team revive ability, but some nice effects. His A2 is actually really strong on a 3-turn cooldown. It's an AoE attack. It's a strip first, and then she places block buffs and decreased defense. This is a really strong AoE on a 3-turn cooldown, providing debuffs and stripping as support. It's got an A1 triple hit with the weaken. It's a 75% chance to land the weaken on 1 hit. It's very, very high. It's almost certainly that you're going to land the weaken here on the 3 hits. So yeah, very strong overall support, bringing you the revive, bringing you nice debuffs and a strip ability. Also, great base stats, 108 base speed. Has a bit of turn meter fail here on the passive whenever an ally dies, so just consider it like a little bit of a mastery. Heals the champion by their 20% of their HP whenever they are attacked by an enemy under pain link. So places pain link for 2 turns on enemies who deal damage equal to 25% or more of an ally's max HP with a single skill. A little bit of extra insurance here to keep herself alive. Obviously, the 20% heal is very, very nice. And she's going to be placing the pain link on enemies that hit your allies quite hard. Pain link basically just transfers some of the damage that she receives back to that champion. Can be pretty annoying if you can't get rid of it, and if you have it on like a squishy damage dealer. But Venicisia, very, very solid support champion. Up next, we have Packmaster Shy'ek. So this is something else or somebody else that some of you guys might be interested in. Packmaster Shy'ek is going to be up for grabs in this progressive. I mean, obviously you can select him but not get him, but he's going to be there. He's also part of the Fusion Exchange program, right? So if you have the Crowcat dog and you want Packmaster, so this is kind of the opportunity. You might want to try your luck trying to get Packmaster here. Not a bad champ, but obviously the biggest part of his kit is pairing up with Crowcat to be absolutely insane. He's got an A1 decreased defense. He's got an A2 here. He's going to self-cleanse himself on a 3-turn cooldown, places shields and taunt and reflect damage. It's kind of a weak ability, to be honest, but it's not bad. It's a little bit of healing when you need it. He's got an A3 here. This one's probably the one where he gets the most value from. It's a 3-turn cooldown. It's got big turn meter boost for your entire team, and he also places 100% block buffs on all enemies. Nice little bonuses here if you have some of the other dogs on the team. Enemies can't resist the block buffs, which is very, very nice. And then on the passive here, whenever he is attacked, he places hex on the enemy. Hexes that Shy'ek places on the enemy also take 20% more damage. So, and whenever he is attacked, your dogs will counterattack. So it's actually a pretty crazy thing. It works pretty well with his taunt buff here. So if you taunt him up and he gets hit, then your big dogs are going to attack afterwards. Speed in all battles just rounds up a little bit. Generally, I don't think his kit is that great, but of course you can probably get some value from him. Obviously for Hydra, block buffs is very good. Turn meter boost is good. Decreased defense is fine. But his combination with Crowcat the Throat Ripper is absolutely insane. So even if he was kind of subpar, you still pair him with an insane AoE damage dealer, and he's insanely good. So he's going to be up for grabs in this progressive. And lastly, for the non-voids here, we have Roxam. Roxam was buffed not too long ago, and I really like his buff. I actually use him in my hard faction wars. He's very nice. He actually hits pretty hard, 1553 base attack. He's got an A1 here, turn meter fill, and then a perfect veil on himself. Conditional bigger turn meter fill when he's under veil. He's got an A2 here on a 3-turn cooldown, a single target hit. Big turn meter fill on himself, places a stun. If he's under veil, places a sleep. If he's not under perfect veil, then places perfect veil on himself. Will ignore shield, strengthen, unkillable. This attack can hit pretty hard. Decent crowd controls, get a little bit of turn meter here, which is very nice. But this is his big ability here on a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. When he is under veil, it's an AoE attack, places decreased defense and weaken. Also decreases the cooldown of his A2. Will ignore block, debuffs, shield, and strengthen. When he's not under veil, it's a single target attack, decreased defense, and weaken. Then places veil on himself. So obviously you want him to be under veil before using this ability because it turns into an AoE ability. So both his abilities, his A1, A2 places veil on himself, or his A3 places veil on himself, but you try not to use his A3 unless he's under veil. For his passive, places block debuffs, increase attack on this champion, and continuous heal when they receive veil. Again, all his skills will give him veil. Places a protected veil on this champion for 1 turn whenever an enemy receives a buff from skills. So another opportunity to place veil on himself. If the target's max HP is higher than this champion, will ignore 15% of the target's defense. If the target's max HP is more than double this champion's, will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Not too difficult to double your HP on Roxam, so he's going to get 30% ignore defense. pretty much all the time. But I like his kit. I think it synergizes pretty well. Every one of his skills give him Veil. Sometimes when he's going first, he might not get Veil right away, so you can't really use his A3 right away, but you can use his A2 or A1 just to put Veil on himself. But yeah, he's a pretty decent damage dealer, hits pretty hard, and then the Veil, of course, makes him a little bit harder to kill. He's going to be up for grabs as well, and it's progressive. Let's move on to the Void champions here. We got Klaazag Keyhulk, probably the best Ogre tribe champion in this entire faction. So Klaazag here, crazy kit, high value kit. A1, transfer all debuffs from this champion to the target before the attack. Bosses, if it's against a boss, it cannot be resisted. Also places True Fear. If it's against a boss, it cannot be resisted. Very nice A1, especially for Chimera trials, trying to fear the boss and stuff. His A2, one of the craziest A2s in the game, I think. Double hit AoE. First hit, places decreased defense and weaken on all enemies for 2 turns. If it's a boss, it cannot be resisted. Second hit, places decreased accuracy and decreased resistance. If it's a boss, it cannot be resisted. 4 debuffs on a double hit AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. Absolutely nuts. And then on the A3, 4-turn cooldown here, counter attack, unkillable on everybody. Places taunt on himself. If it's a boss, these buffs are protected. So again, another crazy A3 here. And his passive kind of acts like Hex a little bit. It's just going to spread out some of the damage to all the enemies based on the amount of debuffs that they have. Very crazy champion. 1600 base defense. He is defense based. Huge addition to like Hydra. Huge addition to Chimera teams. Amazing champion. And then we have from the Shadowkin, we have Riho Bonespear. Riho Bonespear still actually sees some gameplay nowadays. I mean, she is one of the first Shadowkins. She was the first Void guarantee champion way back in the day, I think like 4 years ago now. But the big thing about her is that she lands 6 debuffs on a single ability on a 3-turn cooldown. She does have a 3-turn cleanse here, which has aged okay. It has aged okay. Block debuffs with a huge heal. And her passive here on a 3-turn cooldown. Whenever receiving a debuff, returns from this champion back to the attacker. It's kind of interesting, but not necessarily OP or anything. We probably could get rid of this 3-turn cooldown in 2026, but she's still a fine champion, definitely still used in some areas, some PvP content. Even Chimera trials, she can be okay. She lands all those debuffs. And lastly, for the Void champions here, we have from the Ogren tribes again, Gurgoh. I have Gurgoh myself. He was buffed a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Very decent champion. He does have a strip ability on the A2, gives him an extra turn. Strip and freeze into an AoE decreased defense. Extra hit if they're frozen. He doesn't get the damage reduction from enemies being frozen, so he's going to hit them for full strength. And when he gets hit, there's a chance to freeze the enemy, which is always kind of nice. You got double hit on the A1 if they're under freeze. Pretty weak A1, to be honest. And then he's got 30% speed and arena battles, which is very nice. Generally not a bad champion, although not very good in the Mercurial meta and all that stuff. You can kind of build him like a crowd control champion or a damage dealer, because then he can hit pretty good, but he can also crowd control as well, so he needs high accuracy, and he comes in with the speed in arena battles, which is pretty good. All right, so that's going to be it for the progressive champions up for grabs this weekend. Honestly, it's a pretty weak progressive list of champions here, but I don't expect Plarium to give us a very juicy list of champions for the Summon Rush, mainly because it's for a fusion, which most people will be participating in anyways. Personally speaking, I'm not too interested in any of these champions. I mean, Keberon, because he's from the Argonites, basically there's not that many, so getting him would probably help, faction wars and stuff like that whenever they open it. Venicisia, I would say, is probably the one that I would be most interested in, mainly because she's the one I don't have, and I think she's amazing. Although my Knight Revenants is very strong, it's generally a pretty strong faction anyways, so it really depends on what you guys want. I mean, for me, Venicisia or Keberon, I probably would shoot for Keberon here, even though I wouldn't be super excited to pick him up. He's mainly just a filler for Argonites, but I think he's a decent champion. In terms of the Void champions, Klaazag is the standout here. If you guys are pulling Void shards, we'll go over to Summon Rush tomorrow when it opens in more detail. Right now, I'm a little bit on the fence about participating in this one particularly. We'll have to check out the price of the Summon Rush. If it's very cheap, I'll probably just jump into it, although I'm not super pumped up about this progressive. I might take my chances skipping this one and then hopping into the second one, depending what the price is for the summon rush tomorrow, just because I would rather participate in a better progressive. You never know. The second summon rush could have a better progressive attached to it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Are you guys planning to jump into the first summon rush right away? Does this bad or kind of weak progressive event change your minds? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Have a great day. Thanks for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.